Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matthew. I'm a UConn student doing study abroad at Waseda right now. So, have you ever felt frustrated waiting in line? My problem with waiting in line is that I think it's time-consuming, I think it's inconvenient, I think it's super stressful. And I believe that's the same case for most people out here. And the reason why we get frustrated is because we love having things right away. We're living in an era of on-demand culture. With our busy lives, we want things instantaneously. And that is exactly why I created Everline. Everline is an on-demand lining up service where you can use our app or our website to request another individual to line up for you simply by paying them. So from restaurants, special events, to concerts or new launch products like the new iPhones or new pair of Jordans. So let me explain exactly how it works. So here you can see the search page. So imagine today I'm going to a very famous tonkatsu place called Tonki. And the language I speak is English and Mandarin Chinese. So I enter those information into the app. And the app will automatically find me a suitable liner, which a line holder, we call them liner here. He is 2 minutes away from the restaurant, Tonki, and he speaks 4 languages, and 2 of the languages that I can speak. So once both of us confirm the information I enter is correct, he will proceed to start lining up for me. And once I get to the spot and I switch place with him, and I secure my spot, he is allowed to leave. And during that process, I am allowed to communicate with him. I'm allowed to use GPS tracker to track if he's actually there lining up for me. And by the end of each week of Everline, we will complete the payment transaction to our liners. So in terms of pricing strategy, we're charging 20 yen per minute, which is equivalent of 1,200 yen per hour. There will also be surge pricing, which means the price will based on the demands of that given time. We also take 10% commission on each transaction. Well, I want to say this is an opportunity because services like this has not yet been established in Japan. Services like this there are services similar to this in the States, in China, and Taiwan. That's why I want to say there are very few domestic competitors. And also, I want to talk about some facts. Tokyo's population is 37.4 million right now. And every day we have over 78,000 tourists coming into Tokyo. And on the chart you can see here, we have a very steady growth rate in terms of tourists coming to Japan for the past 5 years. And in 2020, there are the Olympics, right? We're expecting 40 million people tourists coming to Japan. But with the steady rate of tourists coming to Japan, even after the Olympics, I can assure that for our local and international customers, they will be still growing. As for now, I have the validation of my solution. I collected data from 150 people through online surveys, personal interviews, and random street questionnaires. And 72% of those shows interest in the service that I can provide. And 59% people shows interest in lining up for other people. That is why I am adding a point system as an incentive for more people to line up for other people. So every 10 minutes, you get 1 point in the system, and more points allows our users to unlock coupons or discounts. I've also made a landing page, which is like an early bird campaign. If you sign up now, you will get 50% off on your first three times lining up service with Everline. And this is my information right here. Feel free to contact me after the pitch. And I want to say Everline aims to improve city living, making people's life more convenient. We're not just providing a more oriented shopping experience. We're offering another lifestyle. Thank you.
You mentioned Tonki. Have you ever lined up for Tonki?
No.
Do you know why? Do you know why?
You can make reservation.
Yes.
Yes.
They have e-park, right?
Mm-hmm.
why does somebody wants to use your service when there's e-park?
Okay.
What is the difference?
Okay, I know in Japan people use taberoku. Taberoku, you can reserve restaurants, right?
Not Taberogu. Do you know e-park? It is a lining system. It is like yours, but it doesn't have to have any physical person to line up. If I'm going to Tonki in Ibaraki, and if I'm in another place and it takes 30 minutes on the car, I can do and line up virtually and say, I'm going there in 30 minutes. And I make, that is kind of a reservation. And they also let you put how many people you are with, do you want zashiki or table, all those kind of, do you want smoking, non-smoking, everything is in there. And then it will automatically keep on ticking, and then people get in. Nobody gets online anymore on Tonki because everybody has the ticket on their mobile phone. And when they reach there, they just have to wait a little bit. So I was wondering why people want to use your service instead of Tonki's.
There are also restaurants that doesn't use that you have to physically line up. So
Yes.
and there are also now I'm not talking only restaurants, but also events. Also events like in Harajuku every Saturday we'll see a lot of young people line up for this shop called Supreme. They have like very fashionable jackets, shoes, and people line up for hours. And also there are many resellers that come to Tokyo because if they buy those products, if they line up for 10 hours, they can make so much more profit. So I'm also targeting those places.
Okay. Did you talk one by one who's lining up on those places? Like, do you like lining up in this for this? And talk to them, each of them, because
currently I live in Kichijoji,
Mhm.
and every weekend there are so many lines for restaurant like ramen and everything. Because my Japanese isn't good, so I had a friend with me one day, but other times I only talk to people that can actually speak English.
Yes.
And all I get is that I ask them that, oh, I'm working on this project. If are you interested? Will you use this? Will you use this? And they're like, yes, but they want me to tell them exactly how I charge. So I say, if I charge for 30 minutes, will you use it? They're like, no. If you only charge per minute, that's how I will use it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is one thing, but there's another thing in the culture. Because you were talking on to the English people, that's why I feel differently. When you talk to the Japanese, when they're on the queue, there's a meaning that they like to be in the queue. They like to make communication with the people because you're the fan in the same ramen shop. You're the fan of the same ramen shop. We don't know each other, but we start to talk. So there is a meaning why they like to get on the queue. So I think I would like to know a little bit more in depth.
Because also I asked their opinion about lining up, right? And one thing I noticed is that they don't, except that if you're your family or your friends, they don't really talk to each other. They're constantly on their phone, and they're not really doing much. And I was thinking, imagine you have an hour, you have to wait an hour. You can do so much time in that hour, right? So you're using your money to buy time. If that answers your question, because I guess your question is more like,
My question was, is there really that much of customer?